and inspire. We can take it higher. Give it all you got. Being great is required. There's a new normal waiting to push through. Overcome adversity and be the best you. Let's go.
All right, check. All right. First of all, I didn't tell you to stop clapping. Thank you. Welcome to Colorado Springs, my hometown, and the Broadmoor. Have you been enjoying the Broadmoor Hotel? This is like iconic. We love this place here. The staff does a fantastic job. I was on the 1996 Paralympic swim team. Yes, I'm a barge now. I was a swimmer then. I get out of the pool, and my wife Alice, very pregnant with our daughter Ashley, and my son John Jr., he's about 8 years old at the time. They give me a towel to wipe off, and as I'm drying down, I look over on closed circuit television, and I see a man who's on the long jump runway in the track and field stadium. He's an above-the-knee amputee like myself. I'm intrigued because at the University of Arkansas, go Pigs, where are my pigs in the house back there? Pig suey, yes, all right. Where are my Kentucky folks in the house? Any Kentucky folks? Okay, thank you for Coach Calipari. So we thank you for that, and we thank you for it because we beat you the other day. So there we go. Just kidding. I was watching this long jumper, but as I was watching the long jumper, my wife, she's watching me. He begins his long jump approach, running leg over leg, faster and faster down the long jump runway. He hits the takeoff board, leaps up into the air, the apex, the height of his flight, his artificial leg flies off. He lands here, artificial leg lands about 3 feet up in front of him. Whole crowd does a Macaulay Culkin. But that long jumper turns back to the official and says, excuse me, but where are you gonna measure my jump from? From right here, my artificial leg landed up there. I said, oh my gosh, that is a brilliant attitude to have. But remember, as I was watching that long jumper, my wife, she's watching me. And she is seeing a shift going on in my mind. She's seen me go past this point of reckoning. Yes, I'm never gonna run with 2 legs ever again. Through a point of revision. Maybe I can cast a new vision on what might be possible. Maybe I can run with 2 legs, an artificial leg made for running, to a renewed mindset that I was no longer in that pool in Atlanta, Georgia. My mind was 4 years down the road in Sydney, Australia, on the medal stand, and I hadn't even taken a step on an artificial running leg. My wife, Alice, she saw me go from a mindset to a mind sight. A mindset to a mind sight. Mind sight, coined by Dr. Dan Siegel of the Mind Sight Institute. When you look at Regis Wood on our Paralympic team here, he is focused, he is forward. He is seeing the vision where he desires to be. He's going from a mindset to a mind sight. Where are you today? When you came here to the Broadmoor Hotel and you're meeting your friends and you get collaborations that are here, are you in a mindset? Or are you thinking about the client, the customer, everybody that you are serving in service to think about the mind sight that you can actually deliver for them? We move. How do we put our focus in there? And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to have a dialogue. I am a facilitator of the brilliance that's already in the room. So I look at this mindset to mind sight, and I think about our Olympics. We're in Olympic City, USA, Paralympic City, USA, and who knows the Olympic motto? Somebody just yell it out. What's the Olympic motto? Latin words, 3 Latin words. The Olympic motto is Citius, Altius, Fortius. Citius, Altius, Fortius. When translated into English, these 3 words come out as swifter, higher, stronger. Notice that those words, Citius, Altius, Fortius, swifter, higher, stronger, are not written in the superlative of the word. It's not the highest form of the word. It's not swiftest, highest, strongest. They're written with an ER suffix. When I have an ER suffix, I can be greater tomorrow than I actually am today. I can be swifter tomorrow than I am today. I can jump higher tomorrow than I can today. I can lift the heaviest weight today. I can lift heavier weight tomorrow. The ER suffix, what's the ER suffix in your business? How do we push that Olympic model into our own companies so that we can serve that client from a mindset to a mind sight? As I was running hurdles, that's me over here. I can't get a thing. I'm in the center of that page. Not the Southern Illinois guy who's way back there, but I'm actually beating George Jones, my teammate. He's a freshman. I'm going out as a junior in this picture, and never will a junior ever let a freshman beat them. So I did win that race there, and a good 13:45 race. But my coach, John McDonnell, most winningest coach in NCAA history, any sport, 42 national championships before he passed away. He took me down to the Dallas Morning News Invitational in Dallas, Texas, and I happened to win the collegiate division of the 55-meter high hurdles. A gentleman in a beautiful tuxedo official gave me an invitation to come back that night to compete in the open division. As Mike Conley and I were driving back to the hotel, you might know Mike Conley Jr., his son, Mike recruited me to the University of Arkansas. As Mike was driving that van, he said, "John, do you know what just happened with that invitation?" And I said, "Not really. I get a chance to run a couple more times tonight." "No, you get a chance to run against your heroes, your role models, everybody up on your wall at the University of Arkansas in your room. Ronaldo Nehemiah, Greg Foster." And I got so excited and terrified at the same time. So I went back to the room and I picked out a little 35 millimeter camera. I took it back to the Dallas Morning News Invitational, and as I was about to start doing my warm-up, I saw Greg Foster. Oh my gosh. Took out my 35 millimeter camera. I said, click. Ronaldo Nehemiah, same thing, click. And I am so excited. The announcer calls us to our blocks. Ronaldo Nehemiah's in lane number 1, Greg Foster's in lane number 2, I'm in lane number 3. We need some audience participation here. And the announcer's voice comes over the loudspeaker and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to event number 60, the men's 55-meter high hurdles. He has set the world record at the 110-meter distance, first person underneath 13 seconds. Please welcome Ronaldo Nehemiah." Crowd goes wild. In lane number 2, he just set the world record at the Millrose Games last week in the 55-meter hurdles. This is Gregory Foster. In lane number 3, John Register, University of Arkansas. In lane number 4, now I'm ticked. You just went over my name. I just won the 55-meter collegiate division. I'm going to show these guys who's boss. We get in our blocks. On your mark. And I'm kind of looking to my left right there. Yeah, I got you guys today. Set, get to that bird dog set position. Gun goes off, I fly out of a hat. I'm moving fast. And I get ready to take that first hurdle. And I swear to you, when I look up to do that first hurdle, to attack that first hurdle, I swear I'm watching the best hurdle race of my life. So there I was at the end of it, dead last, sitting down there in my chair, switching from my flats, my spikes to my flats. And I'm in this state of euphoric dissidence. Just ran against my heroes and role models, didn't do so well. A woman comes over, sits down next to me. She says, "Young man, I saw you win the collegiate division of the high hurdles this afternoon. I saw the man with the tuxedo give you your invitation to come back here this evening. And then I saw you with your little 35 millimeter camera. Let me tell you something, young man, you dishonored your invitation." I was like, "Ooh, who is this lady?" She leaned in a little more and said, "What you need to do is develop those pictures, put them on your room at Arkansas, circle bullseyes around them, come back here next year, kick their butts." Then she got up. She walked out of my life forever. I said, "Who is that masked lady?" Turns out it was Jeanette Bolden. Jeanette Bolden, gold medalist, 4x100 meter relay team, 1984 Olympic Games. Mike Conley said, "What was Jeanette talking to you about down there?" And as I told him, he said, "She was pouring into you and giving you a gift from her perspective of what she sees in you for what might be better tomorrow than today. To elevate your mindset to a mind sight. What do you see in yourself if you can't even see it right now? How do we push ourselves in such a way that we offer greater service than we are right now. As you're in the room, think about that right now, because what I've learned from Jeanette is never yield to the expected. What's the expected? What is the expected? What do you expect today? Never yield to the expected. You're always building for the greater. We're always building towards the greater. I think when we're talking about this, there are three things when we're talking about hurdles. Hurdles is a race of indoors, 5 hurdles, 10 hurdles on the outside. We'll talk with the 10 hurdles, but hurdles is a very aggressive race. How many say hurdlers run the hurdles? They run the hurdles. Show of hands, hurdlers run hurdles. Hurdles sprint hurdles. How many say they sprint the hurdles? How many say they jump the hurdles? We jump hurdles, right. I used to think the same thing, but hurdles are not jumped. Hurdles are attacked. It's a lead knee, it's a lead foot, and it is a violent action to get the body back down the ground to run to the next one. We are focused on the attack. Look at Lolo Jones here. Lolo is attacking the hurdle. She's in the top of your screen, the second one. She'll be winning the race right here. And she is attacking. Eyes are forward. She's moving with quickness. And as she goes across, she is flying across those things. There's no hesitation to the hurdles. In your business, how are you attacking the challenges and the problems that you are facing in your life? Are you sitting back, waiting for somebody else to do it? Are you complacent? Or are you dialed in, moving on the attack? Because once you get on the attack, then we can have momentum. It's not that we're gaining momentum, we are the momentum. Because once you're at the optimum speed in the hurdles are about 10 meters apart. So the hurdles aren't moving. So I cannot increase speed because I get too close to the hurdle. So I have to do things faster in the momentum that I'm now carrying. When we look at Lolo, she is sprinting between these hurdles. We'll take it back in slow motion. Look at how she is not only attacking, but now she is on momentum. She is the momentum. How are you on the momentum in your business? Are you saying, I've made it over that next hurdle and now we just sit back and relax? Or are we continually sprinting towards that next hurdle? The final one then is we have to be resolute. Resolute is a vision. That's the mindset to the mind sight. We have to be resolute. I am staunch. I know exactly where I'm going in this opportunity. So we focus on the destination. We're focused on the destination. When we look at Lola in this last one, look where her eyes are. She's running hurdles. Is she looking at the hurdles? Is she looking at the hurdles? It's a pretty simple question. She's focused on the destination. Hurdlers don't look at the hurdles. We look at the destination. We are so prepared for the hurdles that they're not even in existence for us. As we look at those three, and you see Lolo on the attack there, think about this. And let's have a quick dialogue. We're going to run a microphone in the center here. And I want to understand how you see the being aggressive, the be momentum, and then being resolute works for PCA. So just talk about that for 2 minutes at your tables. How do you see it in your own world of going from the attack to the momentum to being resolute? Let's talk about that for a second. We'll run a microphone because I want to hear what's on your mind. Let's have some traveling music. 3, 2, 1. We'll go 90 seconds. 90 seconds, let's go. Let's go. Talk about it. All right, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Everybody hands go up. Everybody hands go up. On the count of 3, I want you to point to the person who you want to represent you at the table. 1, 2, 3, point to the person. No. There you go. Don't worry, we won't get through the whole room. We won't get through the whole room. Who had a brilliant idea that he said, oh my gosh, that was really incredible. Would you go to the microphone, introduce yourself to us, and just want to hear what you have to say, sir. Thank you. So give him a hand as he comes to the microphone. Thank you.
My name is Zach Kenny. Oh.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, we were talking about, I'm guilty of really attacking that hurdle, but then just coasting afterwards. And then we were talking about how when you come here, sometimes you come and you leave with a lot of momentum from these things, but almost like too much, and then it can like fade off pretty fast. Yeah. And sort of focusing on the idea of like maybe taking only one or two, trying to pace yourself between the hurdles, execute it, keeping the momentum, and then getting to the next one, instead of this extreme up and down, that like constant pace that you run the hurdles.
Absolutely. Give Zach a hand. Perfect. That's beautiful. I love that. And we come to conferences and then we leave and we lose momentum. So the action step then becomes, let's write down the one or two things that we are going to do. And remember, it's not the keynote speaker, it's not anybody else that's up here telling you to do it. You are the ones that have to do that. That's the lesson, that's what you have to put together into action, in the plan that's gonna make you better to go from that mindset to the mind side. Continue the momentum and not be complacent after we attack the hurdle. One more, let's do one more. Who's the brave soul? Yes, sir. Hey.
My name's Joe Covarrubias. I'm with Contractor Freedom. I took a little different approach.
Yes.
I think being aggressive is in her training. She trained aggressively so that she had the confidence, which gives her the momentum and the unconscious competence that she doesn't even have to look at the hurdle.
Right.
So I just looked at it because I'm a trainer, I looked at it from a training standpoint.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Give Joe a hand, please. That's right. Because when I teach hurdles, when I coach hurdles to the little tykes, right, we don't start them at the highest hurdle. We start them out way down here so that they can feel comfortable and get the rhythm, so that they know the three-step rhythm, and it clicks for them. And then gradually, as they are comfortable with that, then we move the hurdles out, then move the hurdles up. So we don't even sometimes practice at the hurdle height before we even run a race. We just want to see how much is in that aggressiveness that we can keep in the race so that they're able to learn the lesson all the way through. That's fantastic. I think one of the things that we have to do, and thank you both for sharing that, is we have to begin to shift our mindset of how we come to opportunities. So when I do my own professional development, I always stay an extra day. Why? Because I learned so much information that I have to organize it. I have to sift through it. I've heard some great ideas. So then I put on my wall in my room a decrement order that I'm gonna do for the next year. And I can't do everything, but I make 3 R's for my rocks I'm gonna do for the next year. And if I can't do the 4th rock until I've accomplished the first 3. So I put that together. So that's an action step that you can do. So don't pack your bags and get out so quickly to go back to the office, because you won't have time to process what you just learned. You need to take that space, and we're going to talk about that space and grace to grow so that you can serve your clients better. And we do that by adding oxygen into the atmosphere so we can survive our environments. Environments really don't change. We see this astronaut, they're working underwater for maneuvers they're going to do in outer space. I was in Houston auditing a course, and I was looking at this International Space Station submerged all the way underwater, and these astronauts were just doing this hard work, and they got out of the pool, they're just exhausted. Our instructor said, John, well, they're working in very harsh environments. How many would agree our astronauts work in very harsh environments? Yeah. For those that don't have your hand up, any painter can be an astronaut. So we think that the oxygen, atmosphere, and environment, there's something about that. It's something that was wrestling with me, and I just didn't understand it. So when I was going back to the headquarters at NASA, I was processing, because we're gonna talk about what was going on. And I said, I don't think that these astronauts are working in very harsh environments. I think we're operating in an illegal atmosphere. What makes the atmosphere illegal for astronauts under the water or in outer space? What makes it harsh? What makes the environment harsh? Anybody can yell it out. Gravity, for sure. What else? Oxygen, that's what I was going for. Oxygen, because if we don't have oxygen, what happens? We can die, right, we die. But before we die, and we see the frog people in the water here, before we die, we will possibly do something that begins with the letter P. Panic. Because we don't have oxygen into our environment, and I'm gonna scramble for air. This remote control might become my savior if I'm panicking for my last breath. That's why the frog people are there, to be behind the astronaut in case something happens. They can come behind them and pull them to safety. Because if something comes from the front, they see you as the savior and they rap onto you, then two people have a bad day. So we have to think about when I'm in a panic situation, what is that? So I began to think about the panic situations that I often find myself in when I begin losing oxygen out of my environment. How do we know in the beginning of 2020, March 2020, that America was in a panic situation? What were we physically doing? Buying toilet paper, yes, buying toilet paper, because that was going to solve COVID. How many still have toilet paper in your garages right now? Because we're buying toilet paper. So I began to think about, what do I do? How do I show up when I'm in a panic situation? Before going down to those games in Atlanta, Georgia, I was in a gate waiting area in the Washington Dulles International Airport with 50 of my new Paralympic team members. They're on the wheelchair basketball team, the track and field team, the swim team, and I wasn't in the best mindset. Why? Because I wanted to be on the Olympic team, not this Paralympic team. All I could see were people with disabilities, blind, visually impaired, cerebral palsy, amputees like myself. I was like, what's the value? What's the benefit of being on this team? In fact, I was sitting next to a gentleman. He was in a really nice Armani suit. He had gator skin shoes on, pulling a Louis Vuitton bag, and he's talking so loud on the cell phone, I just wanted to reach out and touch him. But I kept my hands to myself. What's the value? What's the benefit of being on this team? The gate agent, she got up to the lectern with herself. Ladies and gentlemen, flight number 300 is now ready for passenger boarding. Will everyone who needs a little bit more time and attention, please get up and board the aircraft at this time. 50 of my Paralympic team members got up and started going down the jet bridge. I said, bin number one. That's a perk. So I get on board the aircraft to go back to the 17th row. I like the window seat. And as I'm looking out the window and I cast my eyes back across the fuselage, I see this amazing spectacle of all my team members coming on board the aircraft. The blind are being led on by the person that's in front of them. Those that are in aisle chairs or wheelchairs, they're being led on in aisle chairs to their seats. Those that have cerebral palsy who can ambulate, they're using the backs of the chairs to get to their seat. And then I see Tree. Tree's on our wheelchair basketball team, double leg amputee, both legs are missing below his knees. Tree stands 6 feet 8 inches tall. But I get it, Tree can be a tree at 6'8", or he can be a stump at 4'3", depending upon which legs he picks out of his closet in the morning. So he has those stilt legs on, ducks underneath the exit sign, stops at seat 7C, sits down, pops his artificial legs off, hands them to the flight attendant, who places both his legs up in the overhead bin. But I got it. Benefit number 2, 17F. What do you think? Leg room, absolutely, more leg room. Yeah, y'all paint group got that way too fast too. More leg room. So the flight attendant goes back to Tree, says, can I help with anything else, sir? Do you need more time or attention? Tree says, no, ma'am, I'm good. Off she walks through the red curtains to bring all the tabbies on board. Tabbies, temporarily able-bodied individuals. So when she goes out the door to bring all the tabbies on board, Tree, now being 4'3", he jumps up into a seat. He takes his long basketball arms, hoists himself up to the overhead bin, climbs in, lays prone next to his legs, closes the bin door. 17F. I catch eyes with Amy, my swim team. Amy puts her head down, turns beet red, twiddles her thumbs like they have done this 1,000 times before. I'm on the edge of my seat. Who's going to sit in that 7th row? The tabbies are going to the back of the plane. They're filing out over the wings. And then we have our winner, Mr. Armani suit. He's still pulling that Louis Vuitton bag, still talking loud on the cell phone, stops at the 7th row, realizes that Louis is not going to fit underneath the seat back pocket in front of him. So he must go to the overhead bin where our friend Tree has been lying prone for the last 5 minutes. And when he goes to lift that latch, boom, out Tree pops. Armani does a Carl Lewis long jump from the 7th row all the way back to the 17th row, slips on those gators. I catch eyes back with Amy. Amy says, oh, that's pretty good, John. Last guy only made it to row number 10. That's a new world record. Armani gets all this stuff. He goes back up to the 7th row where Tree has his hand on his chin, his little nub legs are crossed, and he says, yeah, I'm sorry, sir, but this overhead bin space has been filled. I am laughing like nobody's business back in 17F. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And as I'm wiping kind of tears away, just in hysterics, I remembered how I was showing up just 15 minutes earlier in the gate waiting area when I wanted to be on the Olympic team and not this Paralympic team. It looked like I was going to have a lot more fun on the Paralympic team than I ever was going to have on the Olympic team. And Tree was teaching me my third and most valuable lesson. Tree was showing up as this full, authentic self, despite how I was showing up for him. Despite how I was showing up for him. And when I think about that and losing oxygen out of my environment, and we take it back to the pandemic, because that's a good analogy. It wasn't if somebody wanted to wear a mask or not, or if somebody wanted a vaccination or not. What it was in my world is if someone came to me with the opposing viewpoint, did I, John Register, add oxygen to their environment? Or did I, John Register, take it away? Because that's on me. How do I serve and did serve my clients and my customers during that time, my guests for that experience? To try to grow a business that had been totally shut down. The entire events industry was gone around the world, from 20 events on the books to 0. It was by developing those relationships and offering and adding value over and over again, so that I grew from 0 to the time of December 31st, 2021 to 290. Because of how we serve others. Can we right now, in the moment, from the mindset to the mindsight, offer how we serve our clients, our customers, and make sure that they are the primary thing and everything else that we do is just secondary for their experience? It's a very hard mindset sometimes to get because we have all the answers. We know all the answers in this room. So we talk amongst ourselves, we think we know how we're going to serve the client better, and we never ask the client. We have to begin to understand that we can pull ourselves back out of something and push ourselves into the next, because mindset is the oxygen needed for our atmosphere to thrive in our environment. Mindset is the oxygen that's needed. So that's how we shift it. We begin to think about it in a new way. So we're going to do a little experiment here. How many think that your fantastic was shift and change? We're going from mindset to mindset when we change your mindset. How many think you're the matrix? There is no spoon. I'm the best. Anybody? No one? Okay. How many think, I'm pretty decent. You know, stuff happens. It happens every day. So I'm pretty good with it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hands up. It's very good. All right. And how many said, no freaking way, I hate change. Change just sucks. Okay, very good. Got a couple there. So let's just put this stress test to it. I invite you, if you're able, to please stand up. Find a partner. Face your partner. If you are able and feel comfortable, take one step closer to your partner. Now, however you feel, however you want to take it in, observe your partner. Up and down, take it all in, look them up and down, take it all in, take it all up and in. No, don't look at me, look at your partner. Don't look at me. In the military, we have a 2-part command that's called about face. Once you have taken it all in, I invite you to do an about face and go 180 degrees in the opposite direction. 3, 2, 1, about face. Very, very cool, all right. Oh, I saw a good about face out there. How many military folks do we have in the room? I just want to see. Look at those hands going up. Give our service members a round of applause for their commitment to our United States Constitution, serving all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bearing true faith and allegiance to the same without any hesitation or purpose of evasion. Hooah. All right. Yes, that little document, piece of paper. Are we willing to defend that? Awesome. That's the service. Okay, I invite you now to change one thing about your appearance without your partner knowing. Without your partner knowing, change one thing about your appearance. Without your partner knowing, change one thing about your appearance. When you have changed that one thing, give your partner a tap, turn back around, guess the one thing that was changed. When you finish that, you've done the change, turn back around, guess the one thing that was changed. When you've guessed the one thing, you may take your seat. Awesome, awesome. What was the first thing I invited you to do? Stand up is the right answer. How many said, oh my gosh, another frickin' speaker is gonna ask me to stand up. Coffee hasn't even settled yet. Dude, please, just talk to me. Anybody like that? Thank you, appreciate that, appreciate it. Why do we resist that? Somebody just stand up and yell it, and I'll yell it back for everyone else to hear. So why do we resist standing up? Comfort. I'm comfortable right where I am. I don't want to move. That's a great observation. Anybody else? I don't want to be embarrassed. Yeah, because I stand up 5,000 times a day, and I might have an embarrassment that happens with it. Anyone else? Say again? The unknown. Yes, the unknown. I have no idea what's going to happen when I stand up. I had a little bit too much to drink last night and I might fall over. Unknown, yes. Shifting from observer to participant. I love that one. Can I shift myself from the owner, operator to my customer, client? Interesting. Love that. All amazing answers, all great answers. What happens is yes to all of it. About 25 years old as men, about 25 years old, 24, 23 as women, our synapses have locked in. We have the way that we do things, and our synapses are there. We have a pathway, neural pathways, and we don't want to move because of the unknown. I don't know how much energy I have to expend for the rest of this opportunity, this next step. What's going to happen next? So we resist. So let's put that into the context of business. If I'm resisting, maybe I have a new customer, a new client. There is an opportunity on the table, and I think I have the best product for them, for their solution that they need, but they start, I may shop around a little bit. How do you begin to have a conversation to ensure that they know that you have the best product possible? Take 1 minute, come up with the best idea, and I want somebody to go to the microphone and share that with us. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The table leaders that we just had, you can delegate now to another person that you would like to come to that microphone. Let's align 3 people up behind this one. Let's get 3 great ideas in 1 minute. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Woo, woo, woo. Come on, let's go to the mic. Here we go. State your name, sir, where you're from, and let's get a great idea.
Austin Ilsey from Columbia, Missouri. So I was telling a story. I was bring your kid to work day, right? My son, when he was really little, he's on the autism spectrum, and we had this conversation about personal space. He's very lovey, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was like, Eris, you got to stay away from people. Some people don't like that. And the GC's on the job, and he walks up to him, and he kisses him on the arm. He said, do you like that? So that's the lesson. You just got to ask him. You know?
You got to ask him. You got to ask him. Love that. Brilliant. Got to ask him. Well, that's a great story. Love that. Story point. Love it. That's awesome. Yes, sir.
So mine's along similar lines, just listening to the customer, understanding what the issue is so that you can offer the best solution.
Love it. Yeah, listening to the customer. Let's go a little deeper, you know, because that's like I listen to my customers when I'm trying to do a sale and want to make sure I have the best solution possible. We listen, but are we really listening? Because we usually listen with the solution that we think is best for the client. So how do we take that a step deeper and really understand that what they're saying might not be the solution that I can provide, and I can provide it through somebody else, even one of my competitors? What does that do for the relationship? So let me give you an example. I did a horrible speech. It was like the worst ever because I was in a lane that I should not have been in. It was customer service. No, that's not me. I'm inspirational, motivational, and that's kind of my lane. So I took this gig because they were paying, so I took it. It was horrible. It was an hour presentation, and I knew 3 minutes in that it was going to be a long 57 minutes. It was flatlined. It was horrible. So now what I do is I use that as my example of what not to do. So if somebody asks me for a customer service presentation, they're really looking for the meat and potatoes for customer service, I have a list of people that are my competitors as speakers who I know are brilliant for that space. And I offer that to them. What that does is it gives them a better solution for my client. So what do? They then start taking me and pushing me to all other folks that need my services in their world. It's a reciprocation that just happens because you do something for someone else if you think that you might not have the exact thing that that customer, that client wants. So let's take those things like those a little bit deeper. Let's do one more. We'll go to 2 more things, and then we'll get into some good stuff, because this is good stuff. Oh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. One more. Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. Yes. Oh, we got a lady coming up. Yes. Come on. Love it.
Okay, so my boss loves to look at me and say, here, I will let you finish whatever you thought I was thinking, because I like to stop and interrupt him, because I know what's going to happen next. You got to stop and listen. If you don't stop and really listen, you don't learn anything. You just already have your own thoughts and your own thought process through it. So without stopping and telling me to stop and listen,
Right.
I wouldn't learn what the customer really wants.
Love it. Give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. The stop, look, listen. The train signal. The train signal. When my wife says, you don't listen, I say, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I don't. I have to actually bite my tongue. And sometimes there's a little blood that comes out, so I won't actually inject something stupid into the conversation. So we have to give ourselves, when we feel like we're about to find that solution, find the answer for them, is really take that pause back and open ourselves up to that. So that was number 1. So a lot of times what happens is when we resist the standing up. When we resist the standing up, it's because we are not willing to go there to listen, to really understand what is happening. So then the next thing I invited you to do was what? Step closer. We're there, we're almost getting there. Get comfortable. We're getting there. Pick a partner. Yes, pick a partner is one. And then what? Observe, close. Face the partner, right? Face the partner. And then what? Then we step closer. And then we what? Check them out, right? Up and down. And then what? With what? What did I say? With what type? I said something right specifically after that. With intent. I said with intent. What type of intent did I say to look at them with? Oh, what did he say? Oh. Significant intent. Significant intent. Why would I do that? Maybe I wasn't clear in my instruction. Maybe I had the sequence in my own head, but I wasn't forthright or forceful enough to give you that sequence, to give you that process by which to stand up, face your partner, take one step closer to your partner, then look them up and down with significant intent. Maybe I wasn't clear with that. But how many of us have ever been in a meeting, we say, ready, break, we leave out, and we say, what did we just talk about? And if we're ambiguous in our own systems and processes, how do we expect our clients to know that when they're resisting standing up in the first place? So we have to go a little bit deeper than that to go from the mindset to the mind sight. I invited you to do an about face and change one thing. How many took something off? Look around the room. Raise them high. How many put something on? A lot less. In change, when we're going from the mindset to the mind sight, we need to be looking for those that are putting things on. Why? Because it's easy to take something off. There's always going to be loss in change. The way that we think about the change. And it usually comes out of our language and our mouth and our vernacular with, oh my gosh, they're gonna take away my, fill in the blank. And when we say that, it causes us to stress and panic because something of mine is gonna be taken from me. And when we panic, what do? We do what? We stress. We buy toilet paper. People, we don't. Buy toilet paper. We need to be looking for those that are putting things on, because those are the individuals who are seeing the opportunity despite the obstacle. And that can come from anywhere on our teams, anywhere in our communities. Who's seeing the opportunity despite the obstacles that are being placed in front of us? Didn't I invite you to sit back down? When you sat back down, how many put yourselves right back together? Raise them high. Right? Okay? Well, most of you. Because we all know that change is never sustainable. So we've been doing the activity now for maybe 10 minutes. We got up, we did all this shifting and around, and we sat back down, and nothing has changed. Now, don't overanalyze it. It's just a way to look at it, that this stuff is not easy. It's very difficult. It's very hard. Because in order to change something, you have to change something. It has to be intentional. It's not just a passive thing. It's not someone that just gets up here and says, you need to change, so therefore go change. You actually have to do something about it. And most of the time we're thinking about it has to be something grand or huge or big. In the hurdles, it's one micro thing that we change. It's maybe an arm position, and we do that 1,000 times over and over again so that it will creep into our race. So it might not be something big, it might be something small that gets you to something very big. So we looked at this debrief. I want to focus on the last one here, is ensure that you and your people are not returning to their previous patterns. So when you leave here, make sure that you're not going back to the way it used to be. Focus on that mindset to the mind sight for that. I used to hate this word, inspiration. And the reason for that was because when I was running for Arkansas, or I went to the Olympic trials, a reporter would come over and they would interview me, and I would wind up on the news section that night or in the sports section. When I became a Paralympic athlete, though, if a reporter came, I wound up on the human interest page or the special section at the end of the nightly news, because I was the inspirational story. So I had to get over this somehow, and I'm going to share a story with you of how I did that. But when I do, I'm going to invite you to ask a question. The question is going to come up on the screen through a QR code, and we're going to have a dialogue and discussion about that, and we'll see how that relates and fits in your world. You will find that all my stories happen in airports. This is no different. I was in the San Francisco International Airport. On October 30th, 2000, I was reading a USA Today newspaper. I was wearing shorts, which exposed my artificial leg. Two boys, about 5 years old and 7 years old, these two boys were talking to their mother, their matriarch, and these two boys, they had made a new discovery. Mommy, look at that man's leg, look at the guy's leg over there, see that guy's leg over there, there goes Robot Man. So I chuckled, but I went back to reading my USA Today newspaper. Then something else happened. There began to be this outer speak conversation, which probably should have remained inner speak conversation, from everybody else that was in the gate waiting area talking about the two boys, 5 and 7, who's just discovered Robot Man. Shut them up, get them out of here, impolite to stare, bad mom. I was like, wow, that's interesting. But I went back to reading my USA Today newspaper. And as I was kind of reading there, I see out of the corner of my eye, the woman, she gets up, she starts walking over my direction with the two boys. And I think she's going to do like the old song says and just walk on by. But no, she stops, she leans in. Excuse me, sir, my children absolutely fascinated by your artificial leg. It looks like you've overcome so much adversity. I mean, you're such an inspiration. Would you please tell them what happened? No one's ever come up to me in such a public setting, asked me what's going on with my artificial leg. And in that space between her question and my response, I began to think about an answer. I mean, why does she think I've overcome so much adversity? Maybe I was just born this way. Why does she think I'm such an inspiration? I mean, I could be an axe murderer. I'm not. And why was everybody else that had that outer speak conversation that should have remained inner speak conversation, why were they leaning in? And in the space between her question and my response, I found my answer. I did not overcome the adversity. You see, just 6.5 years earlier, May 24th, 1994, I'm at the Wesley Medical Center in Wichita, Kansas. My wife Alice is holding on to my left hand from the hospital bed. My parents down in Dolores Register, they're on the opposite side of the bed. John Jr., he's 5 years old, playing with a little toy train at the foot of the bed. And the pain's unbearable. Dr. Randy Mullins, he walks in the room, he has a white lab coat on, the stethoscope around his neck, clipboard in his hand. Says, Mr. Register, yeah, you have a tough choice to make. You can either keep your leg and use a walker or a wheelchair for the rest of your life, or I can amputate your leg and you can use a prosthesis for the rest of your life. What kind of choice is that? You see, just 7 days earlier, May 17th, 1994, I'm on top of the world. I'm on the Army's world-class athlete program, track and field team. USA Track and Field News has picked me as the one to watch for the Olympic Games in 1996 in the 400-meter hurdles. The 400-meter hurdles, one time around the track, over 10 obstacles, they're spaced 35 meters apart. There's a 45-meter run into the first hurdle, there's a 40-meter run off the last hurdle for the distance of the 400 meters. I'm approaching every single hurdle in this race at the speed of 8.7 meters per second, which equates to what? Fast is the right answer because that's John Register math for sure. Right? It's about 19.5 miles an hour. I'm ambidextrous, I can take the hurdle with either leg, right leg or left leg, it doesn't really matter, but I've just run my first sub 50-second hurdle race the week before in Dallas, Texas. And I want to continue that pattern, leading with my right leg down the backstretch. But I'm also a combat Army veteran. On my way to officer candidate school, I'm going to be a lifer in the military. My life is golden at this point. But the wind's blowing hard in Hays, Kansas, and I'm having trouble with my steps. As the wind's blowing, my right leg comes up and my left leg comes up. My left leg comes up and my right leg comes up. Sometimes in hurdles, as in life, we just want things to stay the same. But the wind's blowing hard. So I get in the blocks, I do my one last pass before I shut it down for the afternoon. I get to the first hurdle, I attack it, I'm on. Right leg leads. Second hurdle comes into view, I attack it, right ig again, I'm on. Third hurdle comes into view, I feel that Kansas wind push against me, but I push hard back against the Kansas wind, realize I'm gonna be short. I have to take that hurdle with my left leg, no problem. I attack off my right leg, cross the hurdle with my left, push that hurdle foot back down to the ground, and I hear, and my body sails and twists in the air, and I see my left shin pass in front of my face. My shoulders hit the ground, and I bounce to a halt. I do a quick once over my body. Okay, my shoulder's okay, my waist is okay. When I saw my knee, the patella had risen 3 inches up my femur bone. My left leg is now crossed over my right, and my foot's touching the black surface of the track in Hays. The only thing I could think about in that moment was just get up. Yeah, just get yourself up, John. Get up. Just push it. Get up, John. Get up. Come, get up, John. Oh, get up. Oh, God. And 90 minutes later, the ambulance came. Put me in the back and whisked me off to Hays Medical Center, where another doctor in a white lab coat said, Mr. Register, looks like you got a bit of a problem. I'm going to fix that. So he bore down on my crooked leg. We're going to do this on 3. 1, my leg ballooned up, I passed out. I don't remember too much about what happened next. I don't remember the life flight from Hays, Kansas to Wichita. I don't remember the 11-hour vein graft operation that tried to repair a blocked popliteal artery. I don't remember the dislocation. All I remember was lying in that hospital bed with my wife Alice holding on to my left hand, my parents down in Dolores Register on the opposite side of the bed, John Jr., 5 years old, playing on a little toy train. Dr. Mullins saying, you got a tough choice to make. It was the pain that spoke first because my male deductive reasoning said, if I just get rid of my leg, I can get rid of my pain. Look back at Dr. Mullins and I said, I know it has to be amputated. And he immediately goes into work. 2 nights later, I wake up in a hospital room at 11 o'clock at night, things beeping and buzzing around me. And I'm in more pain than my male deductive reasoning had reasoned. And I just wanted something to knock it out. There's a morphine drip button on my right or left, but I was too weak to roll over to press that button. I could see the nurse's station outside my door, but the tubes that had been down my throat made the sound too inaudible to get their attention. So there I lay in that bed for the next 8 hours with my dangerous thoughts. Who am I now? What's my identity? Is my wife going to stick around? Is my son still going to see me as his father? Do I still have a job in the military? Can I support my family? I mean, my Olympic dreams are over. At 8 o'clock, Dr. Mullins comes back in the room, sees I've done a 180-degree shift in my countenance. He immediately calls my wife, Alice, who's at the local hotel trying to manage herself, me, John Jr. She had been told by the nursing staff that I was going to sleep through the night. She had been there all that time. She was dog tired. She comes at 7 o'clock that morning. She finds out at 7 o'clock. We were geographically separated. I was stationed in Germany without command sponsorship to bring my family with me. She's working a job as a nice Army wife in West Memphis, Arkansas. And the job she was working had just called to fire her for being gone too long taking care of me. Thank you for your service, ma'am. And this saint of a woman comes running over, takes them 45 minutes to get me out of that bed into a wheelchair, wheeled out to an inaccessible playground where I'm parked. I'm forced to watch my son and my son and my wife play on the swings. And I couldn't push myself out of that chair. It's the first time I felt disabled. I lost it, started crying uncontrollably, heaving sobs, just couldn't catch a breath. And when Alice saw that, she comes running over from the swing and says, "What is going on, babe?" As she knelt down beside the wheelchair, wrapped her arms around me. "What is happening?" And I began to articulate to her everything that was in my head the night before. And that's when she said the words that stopped my downward spiral. "Yeah, you know what, John? We're going to get through this together. It's just our new normal. It's just our new normal." And when she spoke those words, she baselined my entire existence. She undergirded me with that love. And as I started wiping those tears away from my eyes, and I see John Jr., he through the blur, he jumps up off the swing, hits the ground with those 5-year-old legs, comes running over. "Hey, Mom, Dad, you see my big jump? Mom, Dad, you see my big jump off the swing? You see my big jump?" And he jumps in between Alice and myself, and I realize in that moment, he's just validated me as his father. He's created his new normal. That's exactly what I had to do. I had to figure out some way, how can I create this new normal? So in that space between her question and my response, I found my answer. I said, "Ma'am, I don't think I overcame what you think I overcame. Because had I overcome the amputation of my left leg, I'd have my leg back." She said, "Oh, wow, right. Right, that's right, you'd have your leg back." And her little kid said, "So, mister, what happened next?" I said, "I'm so glad you asked." I started swimming for physical therapy, and I got so fast in the water that I somehow fluked up, messed up, and actually made the Paralympic swim team. Right. Saw this dude on the long jump runway, leg flew off in mid-flight. I said, "I gotta get one of those things, because if I can have a leg made for running, return to jumping, and keep my leg on, I can certainly beat this dude who can't keep his leg on. This is gonna be a good day." And then from there, I did have that leg made for running, went to Sydney, Australia, and as you saw, won the silver medal in the Paralympic Games in Sydney. But it doesn't stop there, right? It keeps on going, because when I came, the reason I'm in Colorado Springs now is I got a chance to come back and begin this what's called the Paralympic Military Sport Program for wounded, ill, and injured military veterans. I never would have started that had that injury never occurred. And because that injury occurs, and because we have a life that we live, we can continue to breathe life into others. That has now gone on to where the Department of Defense runs it. And I got a chance to brief the Princess Diana Fund. And Prince Harry now runs Invictus Games because of it. It continues to grow beyond me even having to be there. How do we continue to grow our businesses? And the woman, she says to me, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." And so when did that happen? I said, it was on October the 23rd, on my mother's birthday. She said, "October 23rd? Today's October 30th. I said, "Yeah." And I was just coming back from Sydney, and I just had happened to have that medal in my pocket. I don't know what I did with the medal. It's somewhere around here. It's somewhere around here. Can't remember. It's in my bag, I think, in the back. No, here it is, right here. Fell out. I just happened to have that medal in my pocket, so I my glasses too. I pulled it out and put it around that little boy's neck. Maggie, would you be that little boy? No, I'm good with that. Don't just be that little boy. Come on here. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'll be around. If anybody wants to see the medal, I have a call that's going to be at 10 o'clock. I'm going to come back after your break, and I'll be here around 10:45, 11. I'll just be right in here. And if you want to kind of do one of these numbers with it, have a picture and then send it to your kids, it'd be great. I love doing that. So we'll do that. And so the most amazing thing happened. The woman, she thanks me for my time, asked me to sign a little autograph for her kids, and off she walks back those little 20 yards to her seat. And I said, what the heck just happened? What just happened? Just because I was sitting in a gate waiting area, reading a USA Today newspaper, wearing shorts, which exposed my artificial leg, someone was being inspired to act. So I shifted the way I was thinking about the word inspiration. Inspiration comes from the Latin word inspiro. Inspiro means to breathe life into. So if my God, my Creator, is breathing life into me, the way I honor that is to breathe life into others, so that our world, like these tables, can intersect and connect one with each other. If I'm taking that life and that breath away, I cause panic. And when we panic, we do irrational things. So you can tell the people who are breathing life, because life follows after them. You can tell the people who are breathing death, because death, destruction, panic follows after them. So you just have to make the choice. Do you want to be on the life side or on the death side? It's up to each one of us to make that decision. As we're looking at this in this champion's mindset, I invite you to ask me a question. So get your phones out here. We're going to go right here. I want to know what you think I actually overcame, because I didn't overcome the amputation of my leg. Get that QR code. I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to grab it. And then we're going to go out to Mentimeter, and I just want to see your results. So you can start filling out your results right now. What's the first question you have? Did somebody say it to me? Is that the question you have? What's the question? What do you believe overcame, right? Okay, good. That's what I want to see. All right. Hey, crew, can we go out to the polling? Thank you. What's one? Just call something out for me so I can hear it. Just fear, for sure. Absolutely fear. I'm going to come back to fear. What else? Disability. Yes, disability, big time. Shame, output. What else? Outlook. My outlook. Yes. Say again. Imminent belief. Yeah, over here? Mindset, for sure, right? My mindset. I want to talk about the fear, because a lot of times that comes up a lot. And in fear, what happens, I want to be clear, the fear was not me saying Alice might leave me. My fear is coming to a realization and a reckoning of, am I still desirable? That's my fear, that I might not be desirable back to my wife. Not that she's going to leave. So it's always the fear is on me. It's internal. But many times what I began doing as John Register was forecasting my fear onto others. Those people are the ones for all our problems, instead of internalizing it for me. Why is this person who I need to be breathing life into a problem for me? It's always internal for us. And that's the fear that we have, that somehow we're going to be rejected or ostracized or pushed away from those that it might be within inside of our circle of success or our sphere of influence. It's very hard to move past these things, because we have where we have come from, the ways we've grown up, and all these things are baked into who makes us who we are. And can we open up our spheres of influence to always take the commonality of breathing oxygen into someone else? So I think that's what the thing, I love talking about that fear. So I built out this resilience action model to understand it. Now, you'll see some other things in here, but I want you to just kind of look at this through your lens and the work that you do. So just keep it in the context of of painters, right? So just keep it in that context. I believe there are 3 hurdles that we have to overcome in order to have a more resilient attitude, a more resilient mindset, to breathe that oxygen to others. And I still think about these things, because I don't think that we're ever finished. I'm always of the opinion, let's break models before models break us. So you get a chance to help me do that in a second here. The first one is the reckoning. When we realize we do not get back what we desire to have back after some type of trauma has impacted our life. The words we generally use around the reckoning is, man, I wish things would go back to the way it used to be. Can't we go back to, I just want things to go back to the way they were. But I don't know about you, when I tell old stories, my stories get bigger and bigger and better when I tell them. It was never like that, ever. I just have a different way of thinking about it now that I have some distance from it. So we have this old routine, we break that routine, and then now I have to acknowledge that things will never go back to the way they used to be. I get caught up in this loop, and I can't move myself out of it. So once I understand that things never go back to the way they used to be, I've hurdled the reckoning. I'm now over into the next hurdle, the revision. I'm free to cast a new vision. My leg was dislocated, it's amputated. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm definitely not going to the Olympic Games. Oh, there's a thing called the Paralympics? What's that all about? And a parallel path begins to emerge that I never knew was even there. What's the parallel path that you see that's not, you didn't even know even existed because you showed up in such a moment to hurdle your reckoning moment. So in the revision, there are things that hold us back to it. We're always looking for the parallel paths, and we're trying to make a commitment because that's what we have to do, but 3 things hold us back from making that commitment. Number 1, other people. Other people who believe for us what we can or cannot do, which is based upon what they believe they could or could not do if they were in our situation. That's number 1. Number 2, society. Society, policies, programs will dictate how we have to show up in a moment. And so those 2 things they hold us back to what we know is the best thing to do. And then third, I'm the one that has to attack the hurdle. I've had the world's best hurdle coaches. None of them ever ran a hurdle for me. I'm the one that has to do it. I'm the one that has to attack it. It's on me, not on somebody else. We say, well, I can push you. Think about it. Everybody been off the 10-meter high dive platform? Everybody need to jump off that thing? It's a scary thing, isn't it? Right. And you're up on the ledge, you're looking down, you're like, oh my God, well, that's a long way down. And if someone comes up behind you and pushes you, and off you go, you flail and go down, well, you didn't jump. Somebody pushed you. You didn't do it yourself. And so we have to be cautious on how we're pushing people because they may not be ready to make that commitment. And so when they make the commitment, they're done, now they're terrified to do it the next time. So it's very difficult to be in this revision moment, but we have to make the commitment. And once we make the commitment, now we're into what I call the renewal. The renewal process is the hardest part of the model. It begins with a rebirth. Rebirths are extremely hard. Why? Because everything is new. I'm no longer the expert. When the doctor amputated my leg, that was a commitment. On the other side of that, there have been millions of amputees. It's just a new experience for me. I have to learn how to give myself space and grace to grow in the new. We saw the young lady that won the Australian Open. She wanted to work on her serve because she wanted to dominate. So she took herself out for 5 months in order to work on her serve. One thing, she was no longer the expert, so that when she inserted herself back into the process, she dominated the Australian Open. Can we give ourselves space and grace to grow, or do we always have to be hard charging, having all the answers, and we never allow ourselves the brilliant time to learn what we need to learn to be better tomorrow than we actually are today? It's very difficult to do this stuff because we don't want to insert ourselves and allow ourselves that. So then we get to the reward, we celebrate the reward, win the medals in our life, but remember the reward is not a destination, it's a plateau for the next level of growth. So when we get to the reward, we always need to look for the next reckoning. We look for the next reckoning. We're looking for the next reckoning. Break models before models break you. Don't wait for something to happen to you because you are the momentum. You're looking for the next hurdle. You're looking for it to attack it. Always pushing it. So the reckoning, the revision, and the renewal. So I got one more question for you out here on this poll is when thinking about this PCA, your role here and hearing this presentation, where would you place yourself in the champion's mindset? Where would you do we have that one? Is that ready to push out? I'm not sure if it's up there or not. Where do you think you are? What role, what do you have to amputate in order to elevate your success? I hope it's going to work. Man, it's not. There's a jointheminty.com. You can use that 2199-7702. Hopefully we can get some answers in there. If not, man, I think it's going to populate later. But if it does, I'll send it out to you afterward. Sometimes I don't. Oh, that's cool. What does that mean? Limiting beliefs, ego. Good. All right. Busyness, self-doubt. Thanks for doing that. 7. I'm not sure. I can't see it underneath. Micromanager. My need to control everything. Oh my gosh, that was me for sure. State of mind, thought process. Beautiful. Very good. All right, so you see what's going on. You can see it. I'll send the slide out to your team, your staff, so you can get all the answers to this question so that you can have an aggregate of that information. All right, the final thing is we're going to, I want to do, let's see, what's the next one? Oh, do you want to see the jump? You want to see the silver medal jump? Yeah, okay, okay. So silver medal jump, here you go.
Let's take a look at the men's long jump F42 finals starting list, and Lucas Christen from Switzerland is the dominant one in this field. He holds both the world and Paralympic record in this event. Victor Goriansen from Sweden is up now, ready for his third attempt. It's not a bad effort. He's pretty satisfied with it. 4.89. It's actually a season best for the Swede. Here's the man to beat. He is the world record holder, jumping 5.43 in 98 in Birmingham. Well, he's pleased the crowd. He's happy with that one. And so he should be. He's smashed his world mark with 5.57, a new world mark. Well, the pressure's really on now for John Register from the USA. 5.57, the mark to beat. Nice lead up, but it's short. He's not able to take the gold from Christen, but he does move into second spot.
Hey.
So here are the results of the men's long jump final. Gold to Christen, silver to Register, and Goriansen home with the bronze.
Yeah, all right, okay, there we go. So if you get a chance to go to the Olympic Museum, if you get a chance to go over there, if you have some time, that leg I used to win the silver medal is in the museum. So you can take a picture with it, tag me. I love kind of that stuff. It's just kind of one moment flash in time. Reporter asked me after that event was over, John, you ran against Carl Lewis, you jumped against Carl Lewis, you ran against Michael Johnson. Do you think with artificial limb technology you could do the same thing? I said no. But maybe your question should be, if God forbid Carl Lewis or Michael Johnson lost a limb, could they run as fast or jump as far as I do? Because that's in my world, it's in my space, right? That's how we shift that mindset to the mind sight. So I have some giveaways for you that you can actually take and implement right now. If you do this, I'm not sure if this is you can see this entire presentation in a different form. When you fill this out, you'll get that, it'll go right to a document that we have. And then after this, I'm going to give you one more, because I'm not sure if it's going to go to the right place, but then I'm going to give you a way to think about this whole presentation, right? So I'll give you 2 QR codes, and then I'll have a few more things to wrap up. We'll take 90 seconds to do this. There's some little music that you get a chance to play and hear.
If you need motivation, he's your speaker. He'll help you amputate your fear and keep you going. He'll tap into your power so you keep on growing. Not afraid to challenge you, find your strength and push
Thanks. And the second one, thanks for doing that. The second one here is the online leadership alignment activity. So that's for you leaders. So there's a process that we can work through. That's just a free gift from me to you, and you can join that into that community. But we put that together for you last night. The team did that. They're much smarter than I, so you can get that. So here's some quick little insights for you. I think the woman and her 2 children, she's a heroine to me because she took a risk when no one else would. She pushed into a space when people were naysaying her. And she hit those hurdles, attacking them to give an opportunity for her children. And I know that because the shifting of the language happened. How cool is that? To hear that story, those kids' lives will never be the same. How about me? How many times was I oblivious, reading my own proverbial USA Today newspapers and unwilling to invite a conversation in when someone just wanted to know a little bit more about who I was? Can I do that? Can I open up that sphere and add oxygen into their environment? This, I probably should have queued you up on. This is the injury slide, but look at the people around me when I couldn't support myself. You look at my fist is like clenched right there in the pain. But I have a team that's around me when I can't support myself. Who's your team when you cannot support yourself? Every Olympian has a team that's around. We call it the team behind the team. And then finally, where are they now? My wife and I, we are 36 years of marriage. That's my honey bunny, Alice. You better applaud for her. You better do that right now. John Jr., he's coaching basketball in Canyon City, Colorado, not too far from here. So that's my guy. He's awesome. That's my daughter Ashley. She was in the belly of my wife, so she's now at the Marriott hotels, and she's an event planner for them. John Jr. for Legacy has a daughter. Her name is Ayana. You can tell by that smile. Ayana gets whatever she wants from her Fafa. And yes, you can fall for her. We talked about a lot of things, how to bring oxygen into the environment, going from a mindset to a mindset. I gave you a contextual model to how do we think about these things. And if you took the QR code, you actually have a system that you can actually implement. The last thing I'll leave you with is this. The next time you go to board an aircraft and you reach for the overhead bin, just be careful. Because you never know what life's overhead bin has in store for you. Thanks, PCA. You've been an amazing audience. Go forth, inspire your world. Bye for now.
We can take it higher. Give it all you got. Being great is required. There's a new normal waiting to push through. Overcome adversity.
This content is brought to you by the PCA and the PCA Education Foundation, with help from our national champions, Benjamin Moore and Sherwin Williams, and the PCA's 2025 industry partners.